Welcome back to the second induction class for the Classic and Current Gaming Hall of Fame. I'm RxDude22 with you. We started this back in July of 2023 with our first 5 games. We do this every month. We have 5 more games to induct for our August induction. Let's get right to it. The first game inducted in August is no stranger to popularity. It comes to us from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It's been out for roughly about 30 years now. This game still has the same popularity now as it had then. Of course, we're talking about Super Metroid. Let's give you some information on that, and we will get right to some gameplay video for you. Super Metroid is an action-adventure game developed by Nintendo and Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1994. It is the third installment in the Metroid series, following the events of the Game Boy game Metroid 2: Return of Samus. Players control bounty hunter Samus Aran, who travels to planet Zebes to retrieve an infant Metroid creature stolen by the space pirate leader Ridley. Following the established gameplay model of its predecessors, Super Metroid focuses on exploration, with the player searching for power-ups used to reach previously inaccessible areas. It introduced new concepts to the series, such as the inventory screen, an auto map, and the ability to fire in all directions. The development staff from previous Metroid games, including Yoshihiro Sakamoto, Makoto Kano, and Gunpei Yoko, returned to develop Super Metroid over the course of 2 years. The developers wanted to make a true action game and set the stage for Samus's reappearance. Super Metroid received acclaim with praise for its atmosphere, gameplay, music, and graphics. It is often cited as one of the greatest video games of all time. The game sold well and shipped 1.42 million copies worldwide by late 2003. Alongside Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which went in my Hall of Fame in July of 2023, Super Metroid is credited for establishing the Metroidvania genre, inspiring numerous indie games and developers. It also became popular among players for speedrunning. Super Metroid was followed in 2002 by Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime. It has been re-released on several Nintendo consoles and services. Let's give you a little bit of gameplay video now of Super Metroid, our first inducted game into the Hall of Fame class of August 2023. Our second game for the 2023 induction class comes to us from the Nintendo GameCube. It's Mario's little brother Luigi. In his second ever game, he has been the lead protagonist. Of course, we're talking about Luigi's Mansion. Here's some information about that game. Luigi's Mansion is a 2001 action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo. The game was a launch title for the GameCube and was the first game in the Mario franchise to be released for the console. It was released in Japan on September 14, 2001, in North America on November 18, 2001, in Europe on May 3, 2002, and in Australia on May 17, 2002. It is the second video game in which Luigi is the main character instead of Mario, after Mario is missing. Players control him as he explores a haunted mansion, searches for Mario, and deals with ghosts by capturing them through a vacuum cleaner supplied by Professor Egad. Luigi's Mansion received a positive critical reception overall, with reviewers praising the gameplay, setting, and soundtrack, though its short length was criticized. The game has sold over 3.3 million copies and is the fifth best-selling GameCube game of all time. It was one of the first games to be re-released as a Player's Choice title on the system and achieved a cult following. The game was followed by two sequels, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, released for the Nintendo 3DS in 2013, and Luigi Mansion 3, which was released for the Nintendo Switch in 2019. A remake of Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS, co-developed by Nintendo and Grezzo, was released in 2018. Let's show you some gameplay footage of our second inductee for the month, Luigi's Mansion.
Mario. Mario! Oh yeah. Mario!
Our third inductee for August 2023 comes to us from the PlayStation 2 system. It's everybody's favorite hack and slash Spartan. Of course, I'm talking about Kratos and God of War. Let's go into the game. God of War is an action adventure hack and slash video game developed by Santa Monica Studio and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. First released on March 22nd, 2005 for the PlayStation 2 system, it is the first installment in a series of the same name and the third chronologically. Loosely based on Greek mythology, it is set in ancient Greece with vengeance as its central motif. The player controls the protagonist Kratos, a Spartan warrior who serves the Olympian gods. The goddess Athena tasks Kratos with killing Ares, the god of war, and Kratos' former mentor who tricked Kratos into killing his wife and daughter. As Ares besieges Athens out of hatred for Athena, Kratos embarks on a quest to find the one object capable of stopping the god once and for all, Pandora's box. The gameplay of God of War focuses on combo-based combat, achieved through the player's main weapon, the Blades of Chaos, and a secondary weapon acquired later in the game. It features quick time events that require the player to complete various game control actions in a time sequence to defeat stronger enemies and bosses. The player can use up to 4 magical attacks and a power-enhancing ability as an alternative combat option. It also features puzzles and platforming elements. God of War sold more than 4.6 million copies worldwide, making it the 14th best-selling PlayStation 2 game of all time. Regarded as one of the best action-adventure games for the platform, it won several Game of the Year awards. In 2009, entertainment website IGN named God of War the 7th best PlayStation 2 game of all time. It has been highly praised for its graphics, sound, story, and gameplay, and has been cited as one of the greatest video games ever made. The success of the game led to the development of 8 more games and expansion into other media. The game and its first sequel, God of War 2, were remastered and released in November 2009 as part of the God of War collection, and in 2012 the remastered version was re-released as part of the God of War saga, both for the PlayStation 3. A novelization of the game was published in May 2010, and a film adaptation has been in development for many years but was ultimately cancelled. And that makes me sad. But this does not make me sad. Here is some gameplay footage of God of War.
Artemis.
Kratos, the gods demand more of you. You have learned to use the blades of chaos well, but they alone will not carry you to the end of your task. I offer you the very blade I used to slay a Titan. Take this gift and use it to complete your quest. Take this weapon, Kratos. Take this power and use it to defeat your enemies. Go with the gods, Kratos. Go forth in the name of Olympus.
2 more games remain for the August induction of the Hall of Fame, and both of them are landmark games. These are big ones, folks. The first one, probably one of the greatest video games of all time, acclaimed by many people. It's from the Nintendo 64. We're talking about The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Let's dive into it. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo 64. It was released in Japan and North America in November of 1998, and in PAL regions the following month. Ocarina of Time is the first game in the Legend of Zelda series with 3D graphics. The game was developed by Nintendo EAD, led by 5 directors including Elijah Aonomu and Yoshiaki Kojima, produced by series co-creator Shigeru Miyamoto, and written by Kensuke Tanabe. Veteran Zelda series composer Koji Kondo created the musical score. The player controls Link in the fantasy land of Hyrule on a quest to stop the evil King Ganondorf by traveling through time and navigating dungeons and an overworld. The game introduced features such as a target lock system and context-sensitive buttons that have since become common in 3D adventure games. The player must learn to play numerous songs on an ocarina to progress. Ocarina of Time received acclaim from critics and consumers and won several awards and accolades, who praised its visuals, sound, gameplay, soundtrack, and writing. It has been ranked by numerous publications as the greatest video game of all time, and is the highest rated game of all time on the review aggregator Metacritic. It was commercially successful, with more than 7 million copies sold worldwide. In the United States, it received more than 3 times more pre-orders than any other game at the time. A direct sequel, The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, was released in 2000. Ocarina of Time has been re-released on every one of the Nintendo's home consoles since, and on the iQue player in China. An enhanced version of the game for the Nintendo 3DS, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D, was released in 2011. Master Quest, an alternative version of the game including new puzzles and increased difficulty, is included in one of the GameCube releases and a 3D version. Let's show you some gameplay now of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That brings us to our final inductee for the month of August for the Classic and Current Gaming Hall of Fame. This game was a landmark game for a brand new console back in the early 90s. A competitor to Nintendo, they needed a mascot. Sega delivered. They gave us Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's look at the game. Sonic the Hedgehog is a multi-directional scrolling platform game developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega in 1991 for the Genesis/Mega Drive. It was released in North America on June 23rd and in PAL regions and Japan the following month. Players control Sonic the Hedgehog, who can run at supersonic speeds. Sonic sets out on a quest to defeat Dr. Robotnik, a scientist who has imprisoned animals in robots and seeks the powerful Chaos Emeralds. The gameplay involves collecting rings as a form of health and a simple control scheme with jumping and attacking controlled by a single button. Development began in 1990 when Sega ordered its developers to create a game featuring a mascot for the company. The developers chose a blue hedgehog designed by Naoto Oshima after he won an internal character design contest and named themselves Sonic Team to match their character. It uses a novel technique that allows Sonic Sprite to roll along curved scenery, which was based on a concept by Oshima from 1989's Sonic the Hedgehog. Designed for fast gameplay, was influenced by games by Super Mario Bros. Series creator Shigeru Miyamoto. The music was composed by Masato Nakamura, bassist of the J-pop band Dreams Come True. Sonic the Hedgehog was very well received by critics who praised its visuals, audio, and gameplay. It is widely considered one of the greatest video games of all time and became one of the best-selling video games of all time with approximately 24 million copies sold worldwide across all platforms. It established the Genesis as a key player in the 16-bit era and allowed it to compete with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It has been ported to multiple systems and inspired several clones, a successful franchise, and adaptations into other media. It was followed by Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in 1992. Here's some gameplay of Sonic the Hedgehog. That concludes our induction of games to the Classic and Current Gaming Hall of Fame for August of 2023. We'll be back next month with 5 more games inducted into September. If you're looking for additional content in between these Hall of Fame inductions, we've got you covered here on YouTube. We have multiple game playthroughs, and we have a weekly podcast where we really dive into different games from different generations. We try to pick out the best games for that as well, so check that out. You can also catch us over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Classic and Current Gaming, where we have live streams pretty much every morning. So plenty of content for you. We'll see you back here in September for our 3rd induction ceremony. It's been RxDude22 from Classic and Current Gaming signing off. Keep on gaming. See you on the next stream. Be good to each other. Have a great month. Check out all the other content. We'll see you back in September for more Hall of Fame inductions. Have a great day, everybody.